Coach and friends, how you doing? It's Rob here. This is Wayfair reported earnings. Let's take a look at Wayfair. Let's take a look at MR. Let's also take a look at the FX market and the robots that are running now. Later on today, Scott Welsh will do a webinar about how he scans for strike zone trades. So here we go. Wayfair reported earnings. There's some good news inside the earnings. They lost $2.30 a share. The forecast was about $2.60 a share of losses, so those were losses better than expected. The revenue was up from last year, and millions of new shoppers have discovered Wayfair while they shelter in place at home. Wayfair says the number of active customers increased 28.6%. So here's the news to me. They deepened their total losses, but they increased their revenue and they increased their customer base. But it seems like they increased their customer base for kind of a one-time major life-changing situation in the virus, and they still weren't able to make money from that. You have to also remember that they're in a downward trend. We don't talk about this a lot, but if you look at it, Wayfair is actually in a steep and declining movement. And before all of this happened, Wayfair, it was kind of speculated as to whether Wayfair could succeed. They've also got a pretty serious debt problem that we have talked about in the past. If you look at statistics, you can see here their current ratio is 0.86. That just means they only have 86 cents for every dollar of short-term debt that they owe. They rose about 500% over the course of the last month and a half. And now I'm short Wayfair, and I like my odds here. Here's a stock and a company that's heavily indebted, that doesn't make money, that hasn't made money, that's in a long-term downtrend, that's overbought, and has printed a bearish profit circle and bearish divergence. This is the kind of stock I want to be short. I feel like I'm either shorting this near the top or at the top, and if I didn't, I just close out the trade, and that's that. So I'm short Wayfair. I'd like to even be short more of it if it does drop today. It's in pre-market trading way up. You can see here it's up to like $160 in pre-market trading. So it is going to gap way higher on the open. And that's going to put me in the position of might as well just let this thing jump upward and then see if it comes back down from there. But it is a fascinating and gigantic move upward, a 17% additional move upward. And if you take it from the lows that were made March 19th from $22, that's $22 to $44 to $66 to $88 to $100 and whatever dollars to, I mean, it's now like a 600% gain. It's just pretty outrageous. So we'll see where that goes from here. I feel like this was a no-brainer trade, and the stock market is still rewarding the company for having steepening losses. But listen, I'm not going to lose very much if all of these trades, if all of this goes bad, it won't lose very much. It's totally worth the chance to ride this thing down 80%. The other stock that I'm looking at is Montage Resources, which is only trading for $6.50 a share. It has risen also since mid-March, and look at the stats on Montage Resources. It's pretty much overvalued statistically. It's got a gigantic amount of debt. It does have earnings, it does have revenue, but it has a lot of debt. It only has 50 cents of cash for every dollar of short-term debt that it has. And it operates as an oil and natural gas exploration and production company, which is not a great place to be right now. So I'm going to start looking at ways to bet against Montage Resources. All right, next, I want to take a look at, if I can anyway, I want to take a look at the robot. So I'll pause here and see if we can bring that up. So here it is. Here's the robot account. It's been making just a little bit of money every day. And pop these robots, these bad boys, inside of a very small IG Markets account just to try to make sure that everything is running properly. And it is. I'm only running the robot on 4 pairs. which is pretty easy start. And you've got all the lessons you need to do that as well. Planning on adding another 99. Well, I'm actually going to add like $97,000 to this account. And then because I like the idea of having the robots get me to 100,000, then taking the money out and then having the robots get me to 100,000 again over and over. But anyway, down $51, got two bad trades going right now. A buy trade on the Euro Aussie and another buy trade on the Euro Aussie. So the Euro Australian sort of just kind of fell apart like a cheap suit. You could see here, took two buy trades near the top and now it's dropping. So I'm going to move back over to the tradingview.com charts and just take a look at the Euro Aussie. And are we in a situation where this one is in a long, protracted downward trend? Yes. So there's a problem here, right? So I've got to figure out a way to help the robot get out of this trade. So what I'm going to do is just wait until it drops a bit more. I'm going to just give it a chance to maybe pull up some bullish divergence on the 15-minute chart and then a bullish profit circle on the 15-minute chart. And I'm going to put an alert here on the 15-minute chart that tells me when those things happen. And then what I'm going to do is take a big trade on my robot account and record everything by the get out position. So I'll buy a larger position that doesn't have to move as far, and then I can just get out of the trade because my two trades are at 70.78 and 69.94. So, like my average price could probably get to something like 69 even and require only a small move upward in order for me to get out of the trade. Okay. That's it for everything right now. Just going to keep my eye on Wayfair, which is going to just burst through the gates here at the open. And then I'll be back a little bit later with an update about how that goes and if I have any brand new trades. And Scott Welsh will be doing the coaching call a little bit later today at about 12 Eastern, I believe, 12 Eastern or 1 Eastern. And I'll talk to you all soon. Okay, bye now.